Today's session, first of all, we'll go with the introduction of network monitoring, like what is network monitoring, then what is network traffic measurement. Okay, then types of monitoring I'll be telling. Okay, and then we'll see few practical examples of how and what you can monitor. So when it comes to network monitoring, we are trying to see the statistics of your network. We are trying to look into your network that, okay, what's going on in your network. Okay, and before starting with that, can anybody tell me like what is network monitoring? Yes, guys, anyone? What is network monitoring?
Check the performance of the link utilization, or check for if there is any broadcast happening.
Okay, good. So actually, yes, anyone else who want to add on something?
Yeah, sir. Actually, we are checking network monitoring like MPT volume, and we are checking header also, TCP headers also, flags also.
Correct.
Yeah, sir.
Great. Yes, Sammy.
Is as some of you said that network monitoring utilizations and all, then we'll monitor, and we'll monitor the device. If anything goes down, we'll check that and troubleshoot those things. And
Good.
we'll do load balance and all.
Yeah, that's great. So if I ask you one more question, like detect performance issues, faults, threats in real time. Yes, that's correct. Network monitoring can be used for lots of purposes. Okay, multiple purposes can be there. You just want to look into network. You want to detect any sort of faults or issues in your network. You want to troubleshoot. You want to collect information. You want to perform forensics. Okay, multiple reasons can be there. Okay, but different types of monitoring are there, and based on the requirement, we decide that okay, what type of monitoring and what kind of monitoring tools are required. So first, let's go with the introduction to what is network monitoring. Okay, so as you guys mentioned that okay, what we are doing is with the help of network monitoring, we are monitoring or we are just looking into the traffic. Okay, so we are constantly looking at the traffic, right? So you see here, constantly monitoring computer network for slow or failing systems. Okay, like one of the system is going down, or what is the reason behind it going down. Okay, then let's say if there is a certain event, then network monitoring can be useful in notifying the administrator in case of outages. So it can generate alerts or it can send emails to the admin, right? So your network monitoring, let's say if you are using certain tools, okay, so this is just nothing but a subset of functions which are involved in your network management. Okay, so network monitoring is a part of network management only, that how you are managing your network. So in network management also, what is the day-to-day task? You are checking that okay, on the devices, what kind of usage patterns are there. Okay, we do establish their baselines, like how your network is performing in the usual case or general case. And now when there are fluctuations or variations from the baseline, then you can detect that okay, there has been certain event or a fault that is causing it. So network monitoring also helps you to perform that kind of troubleshooting and forensics. Okay, where you are able to analyze the network traffic, look into the network traffic, and identify the root cause of a particular issue that is happening in your network. Okay, and so many other reasons can be there. Maybe you just want to look into what kind of traffic is flowing in your network, whether or not any unwanted services are there, anybody accessing something that they are not supposed to access. Like simple policy you can consider here, like one of the policy is there in the organization that you're not supposed to access social media. So if somebody is trying to access those things, so again, network monitoring can help you know that okay, which user tried to access that particular website or the social media, right? So that is where network monitoring is really helpful. Okay, now this is network monitoring. So can anybody tell me how is it different from network traffic measurement? Because another term that we can have with network monitoring is about network traffic measurement. So what do you understand with network traffic measurement? Yes, Ritik.
We have studied quality of service parameters and all. So many parameters which decide the traffic flow, congestion controls that get to
This that is one case. That can be one case. Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, it's like actually the amount of traffic we are receiving.
Correct. Okay. So why would we want to measure the traffic? Why would we want to measure traffic?
So that
So that we can maintain our infrastructure according to the traffic size we receive.
Exactly. Correct. Okay. So network traffic measurement, also helps you to manage, let's say, one of the very common parameter that we have in the networks, bandwidth, right? So it helps you to plan the bandwidth also. Okay. Initially, when we are designing network, that time also we have to perform network monitoring, and accordingly we have to plan the resources. It's not like we can first implement and then we can start to flow the traffic. Okay. So network traffic measurement, if we say, so this is a process of measuring the amount and type of traffic on a particular network. That okay, how much traffic is there and what type of traffic is there. Sometimes it happens that not all the traffic is important to the organization, right? So this is very important. Your network traffic measurement is really important when it comes to bandwidth management. Okay. And this is where your quality of service is also useful, where we can implement that you can what kind of traffic will be allowed. Okay, we can decide priorities for traffic. Those kind of things can be done. Now, why network monitoring is important? So I had already asked you this question, right? Now, the network monitoring, why it is important? So that can vary from service provider to the customer, and again it can vary from organization to organization also. Let's say if you talk about service provider, we have certain cases like you want to understand the behavior of the network. You want that you want to provide fast, high quality and reliable service to satisfy the customers. Okay, then you can plan the network deployment and expansion also. If we are not monitoring the network, let's say if you do not monitor the network, so we cannot plan the expansion of the network, right? Like whether or not your network needs an upgrade. Correct? Like we can say that, okay, if you're running on a certain bandwidth level right now, and if you're not looking at, okay, what is the amount of CPU usage going on? What is the amount of bandwidth usage going on my devices? So how will I know that, okay, when to? Because until or unless I have to go and, until or unless the packets start dropping, my devices starts overwhelming, I won't know about it. Correct? If we are not monitoring, if I'm not wrong. Am I right here?
yes, sir.
yes sir.
So if you will not monitor your network, then you will never know that, okay, what is going on in the network or what kind of services and policies we have to apply, who is violating the policies. Those kind of things we'll never come to know. Then another reason, SLA monitoring, network security. Okay, network security is another pattern, right? We have to detect certain kinds of attacks and threats in the real time. So that is another scenario where network monitoring is useful. Okay, then usage-based billing for network users and marketing using CRM data. So according to service provider, different kind of needs can be there. According to customers, let's say as a customer, why network monitoring is important. So we want that, okay, the ISP or the service provider is supposed to provide fast, high quality and reliable service. Okay, so customer, whatever they are paying for, right? So we get the service, whatever we are paying for, right? So they want to get their money's worth, right? They want fast, reliable, high quality, secure and virus-free internet access. Okay, that is according to the customers. According to the enterprise, whatever the policies are there, okay, most important traffic of the organization, that should not, that should not be dropped. They want to make sure of it. They want to make sure that, okay, whatever the servers, whatever the devices are there in their network, so they should be secure enough. Okay, there should be no attack in the network. Nobody should be able to perform an attack there. And if somebody is trying so, then we should be able to identify, right? We should be able to identify the perpetrators who are trying to do so. Correct? So there can be multiple certain reasons that, okay, why network monitoring is important. Now, if we talk about applications, okay, that where network monitoring is required, you can say, okay, so whenever you want to, find out network problem, that, okay, what is the root cause of the problem? You want to analyze certain issues in your network. Okay. So in those kind of scenarios, your network monitoring tools are very useful. Okay. If you want to generate a traffic report, so if you are able to look into the traffic, then only you will be able to generate the report. Okay. So with the help of these kind of tools, network monitoring tools, you can generate the report. Okay. Then intrusion and hacking attack, like certain kind of attacks can be there. It can be man in the middle attack. It can be ransomware. Okay. It can be DDoS attack. It can be simple flooding kind of attack. Okay. So multiple different kinds of attacks are there. So you want to identify those attacks as well. So that is another reason, or that is another case where we have to go with the network monitoring. Service level monitoring, like SLA monitoring, you can talk about, okay, specific service if you want to monitor that, how the service is performing. So those things, network planning. Okay. So depending on how much amount of traffic is going to be there, so you're going to plan the network accordingly. Okay. Then usage based billing, again, customer relationship management is there, marketing is there. Okay. So network monitorings are very useful. Okay. Then different kind of matrices are there. Okay. Through which network performance can be monitored. Like some of the matrices are there from like the Cooperative Association for Internet Data Analytics. So which have provided different matrices like latency you can measure, packet loss, throughput, link utilization, and availability. Then according to Internet Engineering Task Force, we have certain IP performance matrices like connectivity, one-way delay, one-way packet loss, round-trip delay, delay variation, bulk transfer capacity. So again, depending on the requirement, we generally go with the, you say the CADA, okay, where we find out, okay, what is the latency, okay. And common examples for latency, we see, like generally when we ping, we also see that, okay, there's some sort of latency. And latency is something that is as minimum, okay, it should be the minimum that is desired, okay. So these are some of the matrices. Now let's talk about methods, and with the methods, let's go with the directly jump into the practicals that, okay, how we can monitor a network. So there is two types of network management, or there are two different techniques of measurement, network measurement. So one is active, another one is passive. So can anybody tell me the difference between active and passive monitoring?
Yeah, sir. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sir. Active monitoring is actually directly we are deploy on the direct edge router, and the passive like we are deploying on the L2 layer, like it's a passive mode, sir. Transparent mode is called. That is the sir active and passive, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sir.
You mean to say that in L2 I cannot have active monitoring?
No, sir. That one we are deploying because of already existing network. That kind of that time we are deploying that kind of L2 layer passive monitoring, sir. If we deploy a new networks, that time we need to always deploy a passive mode, because directly we are interact with our firewalls, any network outbound or inbound coming and out. So that is the sir main difference, active and passive, sir, as per my understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Sammy.
Yes, as per my understanding, actually active monitoring is like currently existing work problems. Those we are working currently.
Mm-hmm.
passive monitoring also includes current issues only, but it depends upon the priority basis. We are monitoring, but we are not giving that much priority to passive monitoring.
Okay. Yes, Vijay.
Sir, actually, active monitoring means continuously monitoring the network. Live monitoring. And passive monitoring is like we'll be setting some predefined rules. Apart from that, any network outages comes, we'll be getting an alert. To that alert, we'll be working.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So passive monitoring is something which is we won't alter or modify anything, and we'll be collecting data.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, active monitoring is something which will be monitored in a real time,
Mhm.
and also it includes direct altering in a direct network, in a network. Sorry.
Like, all of you are partly correct. Yes, Ayush, you want to add something?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes, Vishnu.
Passive monitoring is the production environment data, and active will be something plus production and the test cases, like test traffic.
Okay. Yes, Vadhav.
Like, sir, I feel like active monitoring, we do check we add actually the test data in order to check whether the actual device is working or not. Whereas in passive monitoring, we see the actual data. We do not send any kind of test data in this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sir, like,
Yes.
is it like in passive monitoring, we will monitor like, syslog incidents which will be generated, like if any incident occurs. So I think, passive monitoring, it might be related to that. Like we first check the incident which arises, and then we take action based on that incident. Like from syslog, we try to obtain what is the issue. Like
And what about active monitoring?
active monitoring, I think we use some tools, like live monitoring tools, which have been generated. Like I'm not sure yet, but I think it really related to something like live environment tool.
Okay. Vijay, you want to add something? Yes, Vishwanath.
Yeah, I would say that proactively monitoring comes under the active monitoring.
Mm-hmm. And passive?
So passive is something wherein it could be a trigger-based monitoring. Like you set the parameters, and if it meets the parameters only, then you will be triggered.
See, guys, active and passive are based on, interaction. Okay. Active and passive is based on the interaction. Like, if you're just monitoring what is flowing in the network, the actual traffic you're monitoring, right? You don't have to do anything there. Let's say, for example, if I give, let me just directly open the lab itself. I have designed a very small lab for this. So there we can demonstrate few things. Okay, so here I have a small lab scenario here. Okay, so I have set up a network management station here, which will be basically my own system based PC. Okay, wherein we'll be using PRTG, as well as I'll be showing you brief of Splunk so that, okay, how you can monitor and search through the logs inside Splunk. Okay, and also I'll walk you through brief steps in, how you can integrate these devices with those things. Okay. So if I talk about, let's say passive monitoring here. So passive monitoring means, let's say whatever the device or whatever the node or whatever the user, it can be anything, right? I want to monitor anything. But it can be a specific user I want to monitor, or it can be a number of users I want to monitor. Okay. So rather than directly having interaction with them, I just want to monitor that, okay, what is going on? I just want to see what my users are accessing in the enterprise. Okay. So what I can do, let's say this is my L2 or L3 switch. So I can configure span here. Simple concept. I can configure a span. So anybody aware what span is?
Like it's like stands for like switch port analyzer. So basically we'll analyze what's happening at each port of the switch.
Exactly. So I can see, let's say anybody accessing internet, for example. So let's say this R1 is acting here as my active gateway. Okay. As of now, I have configured HSRP between R1 and R2. So here, this guy is my active router who is forwarding the traffic. And then the side I can configure standby. Okay. So what will happen right now? My entire traffic is passing through the active router only. So if I want to see here, so I can monitor this interface, Z0 by 0 interface of my switch, and I can forward it to some other port where I can connect a Wireshark station, right? Or if I want to monitor, I can configure, I can send a Wireshark station there. I can set up a Wireshark station. If I want that, okay, I want here intrusion detection also, I can connect an IDS in place here, right? So if we talk about passive monitoring, so passive monitoring is just this thing that you're not doing anything here. You're not interacting with the devices. I'm not sending any packets to the devices. I'm just monitoring. That's passive. I don't have any active interaction with anything. This is passive. Okay. Wherein I can see that, okay, I have two nodes which are, which are communicating via HSRP. Okay. And then we can say like, okay, if any node is there, let's, for example, I have this Windows 7 node. This node I have here. So if this guy is communicating with anyone, let's say this guy is simply trying to ping. Ping. I can say dot it. So whatever this guy is sending the traffic, so that traffic should be visible to me. Okay. If this guy is accessing internet, that traffic should be visible to me. Okay. Internet access I don't have here. Just let me check.
Is it compulsory to see this type of active and passive status all time?
Yes, we have to see, right?
Okay, sir.
We have to see. Let's say one of the passive monitoring is your deploying your IDS itself, intrusion detection system. Okay, that IDS is doing what? Is it preventing a network from attacks? It's not preventing, right? We have a difference between IDS and IPS. So IDS is just going to monitor your traffic like this, passively monitoring. And then if a traffic matches with the signature, then it's going to generate an alert. That's it. That is the rule of monitoring. Okay. Or else I can say, like I can set up for example, another thing I can say, I can set up a proxy in my network. Everybody is aware about proxy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I can kind of set up a proxy here. And if I set up a proxy in my network, what will happen? Entire traffic of these guys that will pass through the proxy. One of the common example, one general tool, if you in your simulation, if you want to use, we have CC proxy, which is going to help you to configure, proxy in your Windows system itself. Let me show you about this one. That also helps you to monitor. And in case of enterprise scenarios, let's say if you want to monitor web traffic and if you want to secure your web traffic, operation did not come this. Okay. It is telling us if it's a virus. That's strange. It's not a virus. Just give me 1 sec. Some threat protection. Add an exclusion. WLC. Yes, you can get WLC also. You can get WLC as well. Download it once more. Okay. So this now, let's say once you configure a proxy and you start, so this gives you an graphical form here. Okay. This gives you a graphical form here and will show you that, okay, how the bandwidth is being used, what kind of traffic is passing here. Okay. Then if you see, I have an option to monitor here. So whatever the traffic is there, whatever the things are going on, let's say this is Firefox browser. If I give you one brief example for that. So I can go to settings. I can say, wait a second. Yeah, I can configure self proxy only. So first of all, options. Here I've set it 8080. All the proxies. That's fine. Okay. So settings, proxy, manual proxy. One 27001 port number 8080. Okay. Same I'm using for HTTPS and so. So now you'll see here some traffic. And that's set up already. Local IP address, auto detect. And that's fine. And see here, we have an option to create and I want to right now permit all. And if you want that, okay, you want to permit to a specific user. Right now we are permitting all the users. If I want, I can permit a specific user, wherein I can authenticate the user with the IP address that, okay, if this user is there, then I will allow the communication. Okay. And let me just change that part here. Not auto detect. I want to set up the proxy as this one. Stop the proxy. Start the proxy. And see here. So let's say once I create a user here that I want to show you, I can create a simple user, let's say user 001. That's fine. So I can decide here, you see that how many maximum connections the user can make. What is the download bandwidth I want to allow, upload bandwidth. Okay, what kind of protocols the user is allowed to access. I can perform a WAV filter here. Okay, so these are doing the very basic things. Okay, WAV filtering that, what kind of website you want to block from here, that okay, this user gets access to these websites only, or this user does not get access to specific websites. Okay, you can perform a time schedule. So right now here, instead of applying these things, right, we can try to know that, okay, which user is trying to access the system or, the resources after the office hours, those kind of things. We can set up bandwidth quota that, okay, how much data every day he can access. Let's say I can say this guy can use only 1024 MB in one day. So here network monitoring is useful, but we can have an insight into the network that, okay, which user is trying to access what resources. Okay. Getting this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these kind of things can be allowed. Okay. And then in any other system, whatever you need to configure is what just, the proxy IP address. That's it. Let's say I'll set up something just to quickly show you live. Okay. That proxy is giving issue here in the server system. So I'll quickly create a user here, and I want to permit only a specific user and password based authentication. I'm creating a new user 001. And okay, I can say let's say everything is fine. Password for this user, let's say 123. All right, the user is created. Everything is good. And the username, let me make it simple. Just I'll say user1 instead of user001. Okay, and okay. So it's already running here, and I'll use one Windows 7 this machine here. Power on. Now, once I set this thing up, even this thing I can use it as a, this thing also I can use it as a passive monitoring once I set up in the system. Then after I don't need any active interaction. So right now, let me permit everyone. First of all, I'll just say, okay, that's fine. User initially permit all because we just want to perform passive monitoring. Okay. So here there's Firefox. Settings. See. So IP address of the proxy is 172.16.1.94.8080. So they use the same thing for HTTPS. Now, this is my proxy server. Stop it. Power it on. So let's try. Google.com. It says secure connection failed. Okay, that's Firefox security. And the file error trying to connection because authenticity of received data could not be verified. That's because of proxy only. Let me try with the Internet Explorer then. Internet options, security. That thing we will have in the connection, LAN settings, proxy server. Once I push the string on the before 8080. Okay. Let's see here. Google.com. The proxy server blocked. Is it? We are permitting, all right. IP address this, and let's say proxy server blocked the external users connection. We have allowed everybody. Let's go for this user then. Stop and start. Try again. Okay, it's asking a username. Let's say username is user1, password is 123. And you see here, the graph started working, right? And here I can monitor that, okay, this is the user who is accessing this particular connection. Okay. Anything he's trying to access, maybe he's trying to access Instagram.com. Okay. So everything will be there. Now this is also your monitoring. Okay. So right now I have done user-based authentication. If I did IP address-based authentication, I could know about the IP address also. Although I know here what is the IP address, but like it asked for username password, it wouldn't ask for it. We have an option for that. So like this, we can try to know that, okay, which user, or let's say for this user, I'll apply a web filter here that, okay, this is the forbidden site. Let's say this user, for example, google.com. This is the URL. Okay. Then I can say like anything.google.com. This is one. Then I'll use semicolon. Then I can use anything.facebook.com. This is another one. I can say, okay, this is the forbidden site for this user. I can say, okay, stop it, start it again. Okay. And now, when this guy will try again, let's say google.com. So, okay, that filter I have to apply with the user also. Add it. And I can go to WAR filter and WAR filter 1. Okay, that's it. Stop the proxy. Start again. Let's try. Instagram.com. That's strange. Not that useful then. Only this user we are permitting. Like here it will show you RAD actually. Okay. On the website that are blocked, it's going to show you as RAD. But you got the idea, right?
Sir, we are blocking only Facebook and Google. I think Instagram we are not.
Did I say Facebook? Then we will see that. Now you can see. I typed the wrong URL then. So you can see here that whatever the user will try to access, so we'll get the report like that. Okay. So we can open the logs and we can find out all the logs for the user one protocol, any protocol, analyze. This is the user. So user-based monitoring. Web filter 1. This is the website he was trying to access.
Sir, if we want to block, the user can access the Google page, but anything other than that, any link using the videos and all, how to block that?
We can do that.
How to do that?
Like dedicated monitoring tools are there. Like if you have studied WSA, right? So in WSA, we have an option for application visibility control.
Okay.
So you can block certain application. You can even block micro applications. You can block specific features of the application. That, okay, let's say if a user is supposed to use WhatsApp, but he's not supposed to send videos. Okay, he's not allowed to do that. Or if he's allowed to access Facebook, then he should not be able to, play games in there or make video calls in there. Okay, so only chat features we can allow. So that kind of visibility control is there. Okay. Yeah. So we have dedicated devices and dedicated tools for this. And this is where, we have to understand that, okay, how to select a proper monitoring tool. How to select a tool. So that tool will be completely dependent on the requirement that, okay, what we are trying to perform and what we are trying to achieve in the network. Is that clear?
Understood.
Yes.
Yeah, Ajay, one doubt here, like from connectivity perspective, how this CC proxy is connected with this user, and then let's say you have done the settings for a particular IP address of CC proxy, but in practical scenario, like every user is not going to do the setting of this proxy servers. So how we do normally in practical is that every user should go with that proxy and then we can monitor that.
So let's say you want to use, for an example, I'm taking example of here CC proxy only, or else we have seen in the WSA when we are using it as a proxy that we have two modes, right? We have two modes that either you can perform transparent redirection. Let's say if you are using WSA in that case, that if you don't want the user to configure anything, and generally the users don't configure anything, right? Like in the organizations, we have AD environments, right? So once the admin initially while deploying the system itself, we will configure the proxy in the system. Okay. Within the system itself, we have an option, right? If I say settings, because if I configure a proxy in the browser, that proxy is specific to the browser only. Okay. But if I configure a proxy in the system, now this is entire system proxy. So what the network admin will do, he's going to configure the proxy initially while deploying the system itself, while setting up the system itself. And then we do not provide the user with enough privileges so that they can go and change the proxy. Okay. So
Got it.
no need to ask the user to do it. And once the proxy is set up, like, if I show you here, once the proxy is set up, in that case, after that, let's say if I enable this proxy here. So once this thing is set up, after that, what is going to happen? The user will never be asked for authentication or so. Okay, we can just decide that, okay, on this system, this user is logging in. So definitely the user is the one who is accessing the system or who is using a particular website or a resource. Okay. So the user won't be able to change these settings, as we can control all these things via group policy in the Active Directory.
Sir, I have seen in the colleges like the proxy is set in the browser itself, and without the proxy, the user cannot use the internet. So
Yes, because see, when you try to access using the proxy, what happens? Your proxy is going to generate the traffic on your behalf. Okay, your proxy is going to generate the traffic on your behalf. So in your gateway device, as in this device, as of now, I have configured a rule that, okay, only the traffic is coming from this IP here. Let's say in this case, my proxy or network management station IP address is 94. So I have configured here something that if the traffic is coming from, because this guy, everybody will be sending the traffic to this guy. And then this guy is responsible for forwarding it to the internet. So here in my gateway itself, I have configured the policy that, okay, only the traffic, if it is coming from this IP address, it should be allowed. Else it should not be allowed to go in the internet. Is that clear? So if you try to remove the proxy also, you will not have an access to the internet. Those who have completed the WSA module, they must know this thing. Right?
yes,
During the explicit proxy, we do such kind of setup. That if you are not coming from a proxy, you will not be able to go and access the internet. So you do have to go with the proxy only. And if you are going with a proxy, we are monitoring that, okay, what you are accessing. Clear? Okay. Now, next thing, let's go with the active and passive understand. So first of all, let's talk about active. So active is wherein, we are using certain tools. Let's say one common example I gave you, SNMP, right? So in SNMP, we have manager, and then we have agent, right? And the manager and agent, they are in continuous interaction, asking for the certain, we can say statistics of the device with the help of OIDs, right? So active monitoring is performed by sending test traffic into the network. Okay. So you will generate certain test packets periodically on demand, and then you will measure the performance of the test packets or responses. Again, one simple example, if you take for active monitoring, let's say I just want to test the connectivity, or I just want to check the latency. Okay. So like what is the latency if I'm trying to go on the internet? I'll simply do this thing. Okay, so I can know that, okay, this is the latency. This is active monitoring. That, okay, this is the latency right now in my network when I'm accessing an internet. So that's common. Okay, another way you're using SNMP, asking the device itself that, okay, tell me what is the CPU uses, what is the bandwidth uses on a specific interface. So those kind of things. Yes, Ritik. Ritik, in doubt?
No, sir. Miss.
Okay. And then another thing that, okay, based on TTL value, let's say, can anybody guess right now what type of server this 8.8.8.8 is running? Possibly. Just looking at this output.
Windows,
How?
like TTL value is 128.
Okay, but TTL value I can see is 117 only.
That will be number of devices in between.
Number of hops in between. Number of hops my traffic is traveling in between. Okay. So this way, we can count, okay, around 11 hops are there in between, right? So these kind of things can be done. Okay. These kind of monitoring can be done. Then after that, you impose extra traffic onto the network and distorts its behavior in the process. You test packets can, sometimes what will happen, the test packet can be blocked by firewall or processed at low priority by the routers, mainly used to monitor the network performance. You're just trying to monitor the performance of your network. Okay. So if you are having active interaction, if you're sending test packets, okay, you're using test traffic. Okay. In that case, that is active monitoring. Then if we talk about passive monitoring, so passive monitoring, just observing the network traffic, that's it. So passive monitoring is just carried out by observing your network traffic. You're collecting packets from a link or network flow from a router, and then you're performing analysis on the captured packets. Okay, so one of the simple thing, if I show you here, let's say if we try to download PCP condition control, so you can use Wireshark for that reason. Control packets capture. Sample captures. So any simple example, any packet capture we can download and we can start analyzing, or you can just run Wireshark in your base system and you can start analyzing that, okay, what is going on in your network. Let's say specific protocol I'm using, HSRP, I want to monitor. So I can see state is active. Who is advertising? That this 70.1 is advertising. Right now, this guy is advertising. Okay. And if for some reason, let's say my active goes down, let's just go and power it off. If I'll stop this device, then keep on seeing. Now you don't have any new packets here. Okay. We don't have any new packets. Then certain state changes and all, we can look into the, if you're monitoring these devices with the help of SNMP into the PRTG. So from PRTG, we can know. And then if you are monitoring the logs, because the device is going to generate the logs. Let's say, for example, if I access this device, R2 right now, but the log should have been generated already. If I check show standby, yeah, the log has been generated already. So show logging. See the last log that this guy changed state to active. Okay. And again, when the device will come up, again, when this device comes up, so we'll have a new log here. Let's monitor R1. And on the R2 also, we are going to have a log that this guy will change the state to standby again. So monitoring the network helps you to understand that, okay, what is going on in the network. Otherwise, we will never know because you have configured HSRP or any redundancy protocol or failover if you're having. So if you're not monitoring the network, you will again not know that, okay, there is something wrong. One of the devices down because your traffic is working. Your traffic is fine. Okay. So passive monitoring is just looking at the traffic that you have collected the packets from a link or a network flow, and then you are just analyzing this traffic. Okay. Let's say another example if I give you for this thing. So what I'll do, I'll start a packet capture here in the base system because here so many packets will be traveling. Or it will be better if I show you from here. Yes, Sammy.
Yes, actually, passive monitoring, it's like we can consider it doesn't affect the traffic.
No, it's not going to affect the traffic. You're just sitting and monitoring. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, one example, let me show you. For example, once the R1 is down, then we can start with that. Still coming up. So then, meanwhile, I can check on this Windows PC. Let's say Z0 by 2. This one I'll start monitoring. And I'll use an attack machine also. So this is Windows machine. This is the actual machine. And this is the machine from here. That is configured. Let me check once. Z0 by 2 is there. Route is there. DHCP Z0 by 2. Configuration.
So what is this IP NAT inside, IP NAT outside?
You didn't study NAT in CCNA?
No, sir.
Translation is there, right?
No, sir.
Not think that, okay, this is the outside interface. This is my public interface. This is my LAN interface. So my LAN interface traffic will be translated to this public IP.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay, let me just go and quickly troubleshoot this. So, interface, moving, interface range 0 by 0 to 2. No shutdown. This is up, this is up, this is up. This side. Show IP interface with. That's fine. Having 110 IP. Test connectivity. 168. Yes, Manish.
Sir, maybe I think a static IP configured.
No, the static IP. 7.8. Says host unreachable. Timeout. Not responding. Okay, this is C0 by 0. This is R2. And this is R1. Preemption is enabled. That we have configured here already. That's fine. Ping on weekend 168 on it at 254. Even gateway it's not pinging. That's strange. Do show standby. The state is active. IP is also fine. PRTG is also fine. This guy is not pinging. Something wrong on the switch. So interface status. All interfaces are fine. Show IP interface brief. All interfaces are up. Okay, let's try to see the lot traffic. I'll capture the 0 by 0 interface of the switch. And I'll try to see whether the traffic is ICMP ping is generating or not. Z0 by 2. One more time. Nobody is responding for the app. These guys are not responding for the app for 254. Okay, sure. App dashed 70.255 is configured here. Okay, what about 192.116 70.1? Destination host unreachable. Looks like problem with this PC only. Disable. Enable. That's strange. PC IP addresses 70.7. That is okay. Herein we can see 70.1 is available. Okay. Let me try to ping from R2. Ping 192 168. $70.1. Well, this seems to be switch issue. Z0/1. You do show wrong structural monitor due to monitoring or something. No. So span is configured, but that's fine. Let me remove it. And one more time. Okay. Now it's working. So let's say this traffic is there. Now let me close everything. So I can show you what I was trying to show. Okay, so I'm monitoring only Z0/2. So here I'll be accessing, few more things. First, let me test the connectivity. Ping 8.8.8. So we are able to ping. That's good. Now see, I'll be accessing few websites here. So now I'll say HTTPS, say facebook.com. This is one. Okay, I'm just generating random traffic. Okay, so this is about facebook.com. Then let's say test HTML5. Little bit of HTTP traffic I'm generating. Okay, that is done. And again, let's say google.com. Okay, these are 3 websites I have visited from this PC. Okay, then I'll also try to perform certain attack here. Okay, on this machine. So from this attacker machine, I'll try to perform an attack. So here, let me check the IP. IF config. Okay. No IP address. Manual. 192.168.70.19. Gateway 192.168 dot probably 70.254, and DNS will be okay. So let's try to perform some attacks here. So one of the attack I'll try to perform is a simple scan, network scan I'll perform. So I'll say ANMA stealth scan I'll use. Okay. And let's say on 2 ports I'll use port number 80 443. Okay. Then we can say port number. Okay, just let it be these 2 ports. And let me give 192.168.70.7. Okay, simple scan I have performed on these 2. And I'll try to perform a flooding attack. So flooding attack you can perform using HPN3. Okay. So I'll use one of the SYN. Okay, SYN flood attack I'll be doing here. Okay, so -S I'm going to use one. Second thing, I want to change the mode to flood mode. Okay, so for changing mode, there's an option. This is the default mode. And I can say --flood. Okay, so --flood I can use. That is the send packets as fast as possible. Okay, so let's try. --flood -S, and that's fine. So I'll say HPing3 --flood SYN messages. Okay, so SYN flood attack I'm trying to perform here. And machine IP is 172, sorry, not 172, 168.70.7. Okay, so although we can see here amount of traffic that is coming, SYN messages. So this is the SYN flooding attack. Okay, now enough. So let's say, for example, this is the traffic that I have captured, right? This is the amount of traffic that I have captured. Now, how do you identify the traffic? Okay, few things are there. So let's say if you want to identify, first of all, scan. If you want to identify an Nmap scan, okay. So what I can do is, I can say that, okay, let's say, now normally you use the filters, right? Let's say I want to filter TCP, so that will show me TCP traffic. Okay, so this is all the TCP traffic. But again, here you can have, multiple types of connections, multiple communications and conversations were taking place there, right? So let's say you want entire communication that is coming from this, started with the SYN, SYNAC and ACK, with this 3-way handshake. Okay, so if you want to identify that, okay, what communication took place here, right? So what we can do is we can just go and say analyze. Then we can go to the conversation filter and I can go with TCP. Okay, so first of all, I'll go to this TCP screen. Okay, I can say that, okay, any communication that is happening with this website 34107. So I can right click here and I can say apply as filters. So this is the destination IP. If you don't want to remember the filters, no need. We can just pick up an IP address and we can right click and apply it as a filter. Or else you can directly say like this. Now I want that, okay, whatever the communication took place here. So I can go to analyze, conversation filter and TCP. So now this is the entire communication that took place between these 2 nodes. Okay. So now you can identify that, okay, in here, what is going on, that there is TCP retransmission took place, TCP keep alive acknowledgement took place. Okay. So these kind of things are there. And if needed, you can also add few things as a column. Let's say, here, what do you want to see? You want to see the, for example, the segment size maybe. Okay. Because whenever you want to go and perform, you can say, let's say you are analyzing for congestion control kind of things. You want to check flow control kind of things. Then these things are very, very helpful. Okay. So let's say if I go here and for example, yes, Arif. Okay. So let's say this is the MSS. So I want to apply this thing. Okay. So I can say apply as column. Now I can see that, okay, this is the maximum segment size. Okay. So this MSS value itself, let's say this entire option you don't want, this MSS value only you want, you can just go and say apply as column. So now you will see that, okay, this is the MSS value for each MSS. Whatever the MSS value is there, those things you will see here. Okay. Then another thing you might want that, okay, I want to identify like this thing, you can identify a particular communication you can analyze here. Okay. With this type of filters, you can analyze a specific communication. Okay. Then after, let's say this is the MSS value. Okay. You can check about the window size, that this is the window size. Again, apply it as a column. So these things will help you to check in real time. You don't have to go and open each and every single packet there. Okay. You don't have good, you don't, yes?
No, sir. Nothing. Okay. Just.
So you don't have to go and open each and every packet to see, there are common things like, like this is one here, we have time. Okay. So if you want to calculate, the round trip, you can say, okay. Or if you want to find out the round trip time. So we have something called as delta delay here. That thing we can use as a column. Oh, so display filters are there. Prepare filter. Not selected, follow. That even I have to search for. That is something called as delta time that you can check for. Okay, so that will give you even the, the round trip, that will give you directly here. So if you want to calculate that, okay, where the most delay is taking place, which packet is, taking longer to process. So those kind of things even you can know from here itself. Okay, so you can apply different columns, different filters here. Okay, let's say now, if another thing, if I tell you that how you're going to analyze, let's say if there is an attack, if there was a scan being performed, okay, or there was a flooding type of attack. So let's say if I want to do so, so normally, let's say if now for this thing, you need to understand about the type of scan also. Okay, so like first is not, let's say Nmap scan. Okay, so if you talk about Nmap scan, in that case, what will happen? That you just need to, like the default scan, there are different kinds of scan although, but most common scan I will tell you, like one is full connect scan. Okay, so in full connect scan, what will happen? That your complete three-way handshake happens. Complete three-way handshake. This will take place in the complete three-way handshake. Okay. And another type of scan we have, that is stealth scan. Okay. So in the stealth scan, only two steps are there. One is SYN. Okay. Then you get a SYNAC. Okay. And then the client will send a reset or reset ACK. Okay. So if there is a stealth scan, you will find only these two packets in the communication. But how do you know? Number of packets are very used. Okay. Like checking that, okay, there are only two packets or three packets in the communication, which is SYN, SYNAC and reset. So how would you find out these things? Okay, so one simple way for this is what? You go here, all the packets are here. First of all, search that, okay, where SYN and SYNAC is there. Okay, so if you want, so this is one filter that I have created, that tcp.flags.syn. So that means SYN flag is 1 or SYN and ACK both are 1. All the packets in which either SYN flag is set to 1 or SYN and ACK both flags are set to 1. So let's say this is the filter, enter. Now you got all the SYN and SYNAC. This filtered me all the SYN and SYNAC packets. But again, how do I know that, okay, which one is a complete communication and which one is not? Okay, before that, let me tell you, if you want to save this kind of filter, you have here this plus option. Just add it, and let's say you can name it something like TCP SYN and SYNAC, something like that. SYNAC. Okay, I can name it like this. And next time, whenever you want to apply the same filter, you find the filter here. Just apply it, and you have all your values. So all your important filters, whatever the filters are there, most common filters that you have to use for day to day. In that case, those filters you can just create once and keep it in your Wireshark. Okay. Now, once this is done, then what we can do, we can go for statistics and we can say conversations. This will show you about all the conversations taking place. Okay. This is going to show you all the conversations that are taking place here. Let me just that's too much. Okay, let it be. Okay, so here it's showing about all the communications taking place, address A, port A, address B, port B. So these A and B, it is considering as two nodes. Okay. Now what? But I want to see only the SYN and SYNAC. This is going to show you entire conversation. Okay. So you have an option here. Earlier we applied this filter, right? So you can just say limit to display filter. That's it. Now it's telling me that, okay, there was some communication. Okay. There was a communication from 150.3. This IP to this IP, that is a PIPA. Okay. There was a communication happening and overall 3 packets were there. Okay. So the first packet in a communication, we know that TCP communication first packet is what? SYN only. Okay. So from A to B, 3 packets were there. Okay. And this many bytes were sent. From B to A, 0 packets are there. From B to A, 0 packets are there. Okay. So this is according to the IP address. Let's say I want to see just the responses. That, okay, for these packets, how many responses are there? So if I, sort from this thing, that, okay, from here 3 packets were there. Okay. Now you see here that from A to B only 1 packet, from B to A 2 packets were there. From A to B 1 packet, from B to A 1 packet, and this is the amount of data. Okay, so let's say this one I want to see, which was going from 192.168.70.7 and going to port number 80 on this website. So let's take a look at this one. I can select this, right click, and I can say apply as filter. And the filter selected. So what do you want to see? You want to see the communication between A and B, or you want to see only from A to B? That also you can decide. Or you want to see only from B to A. So let's say I want to see between both A and B, and I can click here. This is going to apply the filter. So you see here, this was the SYN, this was the SYNAC. Okay, this is the legitimate communication. And also you can filter this thing how? You can see here total number of packets. Okay, like these are the total number of packets between these 2 communications. Okay, according to SYN SYNAC, these are the total number of packets. Okay, then we saw that, okay, there were, we tried to perform an attack also. So let me see that IP. Now see here, like if you see from 19 to 7, okay, there was one packet, SYN packet, but there was no response. Let me check this thing. Applies filter selected between A and B. Okay. So this was only one TCP SYN packet coming from .19 to .7. Okay. And if you see, it was coming on the port number 80. Now, why would be somebody scanning it? Okay. So I can try to look that, okay, this looks suspicious here. Okay. Because this guy is trying to connect on port number 80 and port number 80 is not even open on my system. Okay. Then I can try to analyze that, okay, this guy from this guy, there are some other packets that is coming on port number 443 that are coming on port number 80. And now again, this guy is trying something on port number 0 also. Okay. So I can select it. Let's say, what is this traffic? So only one SYN packet on the port number 0. So from here, I can understand that, okay, this guy is someone who is trying to perform some sort of attack. Okay. Because first thing, few ports that are not open on my system, he's trying to scan those ports. Second thing, that, okay, immediately, let's say if I see, if a legitimate port is there. So if I want to filter the communication between these two IPs, destination port, I'll remove. And let me check. And source port also I'll remove. And I'll use 2 times sent. Now this is the entire communication. Okay. So from here, I can see that, okay, this guy is continuously sending what? SYN messages. Constantly sending SYN messages on different port. That means this is a flooding kind of attack. So like that, we can go to the statistics, and in the statistics here, we can know that, okay, between two nodes, how many packets are traveling. Is that clear? How to use these filters? And you can save the filters for later purpose. Clear, right?
Yes.
All right. Then what if you want to monitor, like not just, Wireshark only you will be using for monitoring. What if you want to use other different tools? Okay. Maybe you want to use PRTG for network monitoring. So now we need to configure PRTG to monitor all these devices. Let's say I want to monitor the router R1, I want to monitor the router R2, and then also I want to monitor the switch traffic. Okay. So what we can do, we can use these devices to forward the logs to my network management station. Okay. So first of all, we will use SNMP to monitor this, and then we will configure these devices to forward logs to the Splunk. Okay. So let me show you how. So first of all, I'll test connectivity between, yes, Vishwanath, anything?
Sir, you said you were going to monitor R1 and R2.
Using SNMP via the PSR.
Okay, but R1 and R2, it is in HSRP, right? Sir, now?
Yes, they are HSRP.
Okay,
right.
so
it is in everything. If an interface in a device is going down, we must get an alert or warning in the PRTG, right?
so that is what I would ask. Will you going to put the R1 down and see how R2 is responding and get the traffic?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I want to understand, sir. How we are going to monitor both the routers?
Both the routers I'll show. Okay, so both the routers will configure SNMP to send, to connect, send the management data to the PRTG. So first of all, I'll go to here, and this is my PRTG. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure SNMP on these devices. Okay. So on R1, R2, and switch. So let's go to R1 here. Terminals. So I'll say SNMP server community.
Sir, just a second.
Yes.
Sir, PRTG is installed on which device?
You can directly install it from Google Excel.
No, I mean in the topology, it is in which device? NMS?
Yeah, clear. NMS.
Okay.
So NMS is basically my base system. Here only I'll monitor. Okay.
Oops.
So public, and let's configure this one read write. That's fine. Same thing. I'll configure here. Right now I'm doing a very basic configuration so that they can start communication. And this public is the key string, community string. And on the switch, what I want to do is I'll have to create a SVI for that. Interface VLAN 1. And I'll assign an IP address maybe .3 to the switch. IP address 192.168.78.3. Okay, there's an IP address conflict also. I didn't check that. So I'll just shut down this Linux node. Or I can change its IP quickly. Okay, this is a Linux node, so I'll quickly change the IP here so that there should be no conflict. I'll make it 20. That's fine. Because later I'll show you how you can monitor different types of system. Windows also, I'll show you how you can add in the PRTG. I'll show you Linux, how you can add, and then Cisco also. So that's fine. This interface is up. So let's test 192.168.78.94. Communication should be there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And then let's configure SNMP here. Community, public, right. That's fine. Okay, all three devices I have configured the community string. Now we'll start adding these devices in the PRTG. See here. So let's say I want to add routers in here. Okay. So Cisco routers I want to add. I'll just click network history, Windows is there, gateway is there. So let's say in the network infra I can add. Anywhere you can add, but these are categories already available in the PRTG, like, Windows devices, virtual systems, Hyper-V, Linux devices, like that. Okay, so these categories are already available, so I'm adding according to this category only right now. Okay, and you can see PRTG by default, it's already by default monitoring my gateway connectivity. That, okay, I'm able to connect to my DNS, I'm connected to internet, and I'm connected to my gateway also. So I'll right click here, I'll say add device. And device name, I'll name it R1. Okay. And then IPv4 address. So IPv4 address for that is 192.168.70.1. And it's a Cisco router, right? So Cisco logo should be there here. And if you do not want to automatically discover, you can click this and you can manually add the sensors. And right now I'll go with auto discovery. So that means it will by default use the sensors available for Cisco. So I'll say okay. 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 So as soon as connectivity will be established between R1 and R2, you will see that it will automatically start checking the device for ping. Then it will try to monitor its interface bandwidth. Okay, all those things, CPU load, all those things it will show you by default only. So we are running auto discovery. We just added R2. It's not showing that. At the time we can add on. Okay, that's added here. You can see on R2, auto discovery is in progress, but why it's added here? Let me remove it from here. So I'll add it back in there only. So we can have everything in one place. Okay. So you can see ping has been established. Okay. Network infra. Add device. Device name is R2. 192.168.70.2. That's Cisco. Okay. Okay, you can see here R1 system health is already there, and also it will start showing you the interface states. So right now this router has 3 interfaces: 0/0, 0/1, 0/2. Okay, let's add the switch also. Switch IP address is 3 70.3 Cisco default auto discovery. Okay. Okay, for switch also it started working. That's fine. So once these devices are discovered, then we can start manipulating them. So as you can see, as soon as right now the ping is going on, right? So as soon as once we will shut down the R1 and it will see that, okay, the ping is not available, the device is not reachable. It will show us a warning here that, okay, this is one device that is down. So you don't need to go and monitor each device here. You can every day go and just check out this. Okay, there is a device like, see here, error caused by lookup value unreachable in the channel status. Okay. So right now I'm deleting all this so that we don't have any prior warnings. Delete the object devices. So allow it to auto discover. Same way, if I want, I can go and add Windows also here. So I have an option for Windows clients. Okay. So if you want to configure in Windows, so you need to know in Windows also we have SNMP. Okay. So in Windows, you just need to go and say turn Windows features on or off. In here, that means SNMP feature is there in Windows, but not by default enabled. See here, simple network management protocol SNMP. Just expand this and select both of these, WMI SNMP provider as well as SNMP. Say OK. And now SNMP will be installed in the Windows. Meanwhile, here in the routers, you can see CPU load information we have that R1 is on 14% load, R2 is on 15% load. This is the switch. Now switch is having multiple interfaces, 0/0, 0/1, 0/2, 3, 4. Okay, like that, 1/0, 1/1, 1/2, 1/3. Okay. Individual device, if you want to monitor that, okay, what's going on R1 itself, just click here on R1. Okay. And we can see here that, okay, everything looks fine. Okay, so this is the ping that, okay, right now response time is 13 milliseconds and this is the CPU load. So also you can see, last 2 days, stats that, okay, what are the stats in the last 2 days for each interface and for each sensor. It will show you that, okay, what happened in the last 2 days. Same way you can see last 30 days, last 365 days. Okay. How many alarms were generated. Okay. So we didn't configure anything for alarm right now. So those things we can check. Logs we can check for this device. Yes, Manish.
Yeah, sir. Actually, we are making connectivity with the IP and host name. So we have other option like make connectivity with our PRTG network tool and our switch and router. We have other options.
See, right now the option is actually, the connectivity is there with the help of SNMP. Okay. So what is happening that in the SNMP, in the routers and switches, I configured a community string public, right?
Yes.
Yes. Then that same community string, if you see, if I go to the settings here, that same community string has been by default configured in the PRTG. If you see, auto discovery is there. And for SNMP, you will see here that, okay, this is the SNMP version 2, port number 161. If I power it off, I can manually configure here. If you have configured some other community string or if other version is running in your system.
Okay. Okay, sir. Yeah, got it.
And connectivity is there with the help of SNMP protocol, not with IP and device name, host name.
Cheers. Okay.
So this is how it is. We can see the logs, how many notification triggers were there. Okay. So we can configure the triggers. And even one more thing I'll show you, like, in the case of SNMP, we have option that, okay, we can configure thresholds. And if a particular, you can say stats reaches the threshold value or, reaches the threshold, then it should generate an alert for us, right? So those things we can configure here. Let's say, for example, right now, if I talk about CPU load, okay. So CPU load right now is, for example, this is R1, R2 switch. This is R1, right? Okay. So if I say the CPU load right now is 13%, so I can configure here, like I have an option that maximum is this, minimum is this, last value was this. Okay. If I click on this gear icon, I can configure that, okay, what is the upper error limit? What is the upper warning limit? So by default warning limit is what? 90 only. I can configure it like, okay, if it goes beyond 60, I should get a warning. So whenever my CPU load goes beyond that 60, I'll get a warning here. In my PRTG dashboard itself, I'll get a warning that, okay, on router 1, CPU uses are high. So then we can go and check out that, okay, what is causing it. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So same way, we can configure upper limit as well as lower limit. Okay, we have option for that. So these are threshold values or that we can configure here. Live data, you can see that, okay, what's going on in live. That, okay, there was 14% at max, 13%. So continuously this graph will be generated. Okay, so it's going to show you a continuous graph. So let's see if all the devices and everything is up. Yeah, all the devices are being monitored right now. And Windows also, I guess everything is good now. The feature has been added. Okay, once the feature has been added, what you need to do is in Windows, just adding the feature is not sufficient. You have to go to the services. And here you have to search for Simple Network Management Protocol, SNMP service. Okay. So this SNMP service, open it. It should be automatically started. Okay. And it should be there. Like startup type should be automatic and it should be started. After that, you have to go to the security. Here, you have to configure the community string. Okay. So what is the community string? So community string, let's say same I will use as of now, public. Okay. And do you want to accept the SNMP packet from any host or a specific one? So you don't want anybody sending, anybody monitoring you. So you can configure a specific IP address. That is your NMS IP address.
So many things are new because in this whole session, too many new things I got.
So many things are
So many things are new for me.
okay. So many things are new for you.
Yeah.
So those who are like, I'll be covering like Splunk here. I'll be covering very basic only. Like I'll be directly showing you how to forward logs and all. But if you really want to understand, right, how Splunk works and all, so those who are in the CCIE security, they can attend. I'll be starting a batch on 16th for Splunk.
First one, after completion of CCNP, then Splunk.
If you are enrolled in CCIE security, cyber security, you can attend it.
Without completion of your CCNP.
As for Splunk, you don't require anything.
Okay, sir.
From everything, everything I'll cover from scratch only.
Okay, sir. Can you please read the date again?
16th, right?
16.
Yeah, just it will be 4 to 6.
Okay, sir.
So I'll verify in the group it's whether 16 or 23.
Yeah, sir. Correct, sir. 16.
16, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, sir.
So 192, 168, 70.94. Here we have to send the packets or accept the packets from, apply it, say okay. That's all the configuration we need. After that, I can add a device. I can say Windows 7 PC, because these dedicated devices, they can take a long time because they have so many features. So it's not easy to explain them in 2 hours. So this is Microsoft icon. Same auto discovery I'm using here. Say okay. Now here we are adding the Windows PC. Okay, Linux I want to add. So let's say I don't have as of now the Linux version I'm using. So in this version of Linux, I'm not having SNMP facility and I cannot install the SNMP program. This is a very basic Linux. So it's not mandatory that you need to have SNMP only. That is only the one protocol you can monitor. I can monitor this thing via SSH also. Okay, so on this system, SSH is running. So I can go here and I can configure, let's say Linux. So I can say add device. And then I can say it's metasploitable too. So I'll name it MS2 Linux. And IP address is .20, 192.168.70.20. So this is a Linux based. So I'll select Linux. And here itself, I can say that, okay, I will be using SSH for that. So SSH credential username should be MSF admin and password should be MSF admin. Okay, and I'll say okay, fine. Now it will start connecting to this device and monitoring this device with the help of SNMP. Sorry, not SNMP, SSH, my bad.
So can the same be done for routers and switches, sir? That's through SSH.
Same thing, you can do it. We are talking about a protocol, right?
Yes.
Yes. So in routers, we have SNMP already available. That's why I'm going with SNMP, because that will give you more exposure to the device stats and management, because SNMP is a dedicated protocol that is used for management only.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So meanwhile, this thing is going on. Let's do one thing. Let's try to shut down the R1, or first of all, I'll try to shut down one single interface only. So we'll try to see whether this thing changes or not. Okay. So for an example, let's say I'll try to shut down one of the interface, which is Z0 by 1. Okay. So on R1, I'm shutting down one interface. Interface Z0/1, and I'm saying shut down. Now this interface is down. Let's go on R1. Okay. So within some time, it will show us a warning or so that, okay, one of the interface is down or the interface state will change as you. Right now it's green that, okay, everything is up. Okay, that is going to change. Okay, we can refresh from here, scan now. I can manually scan. Okay, response time 19 milliseconds increased. That's fine. It will take some time to change. That says E0 by 1 only. Specific interface I'm trying to check here. Live data. So no traffic has been passed on this interface right now. It will take some time to change.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, one by one we need to add all these system, or we have an option like we can able to add a multiple system at a time.
You can do that. We have auto discovery option.
Okay.
Because manually adding thousands of systems is not scalable. Right now, lab is small, so you can add 2-5 devices, but real scenarios, multiple thousands of devices can be there. Now, so this one is taking time. So for faster view, let's go and shut down R1 only. Okay, let's wait for this refresh in 9 seconds, it says. Still not updated, taking some time. Okay, let's go and shut down this device. First, let me, okay, anyways, I have to bring the interface up. I'll shut down this device. Now, you go to devices. Okay, so here we'll see that, okay, one of the devices down. It will take some time, but we'll see it. See, already a warning is there on R1 for Z0 by 0 interface. See here. Okay, actually I have 3 warnings. So I can have a number of devices here. I can directly go and check the warnings. Wait for it. Once it will check the ping and ping is down, now you can see new alarm. So alarm has been generated that your device is down. So if I click here, I can see. Okay, that there are warnings. There is no response, no response, no response, and no response. Then this device is down. So like that, you will get the alert. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if it is a licensed device, it will reflect the same time, right?
Yes, that will be faster. So right now everything is in medium, right? So that's why. So again, there is one more new alarm. Okay, system health, memory, and everything. It found out that, okay, these interfaces are down. So everything it will say that, okay, the sensor is down. Now let's bring it back up so that I can show you how you can see the logs in the Splunk.
So SolarWinds is same.
Any tool you can use, SolarWinds. If I show you a number of tools are there, like, so active, passive, we are done. If we talk about the tools, you have ping, normal ping, then PRTG, SNMP server, IBM Aurora is there, IntelliGel Pod Network Manager is there, Microsoft Network Monitor, MRTG, Nagios, Nagios. Number of tools are there, OpenNMS, Pandora, SolarWinds, then Sentinel-3 is there, ServerChat, Zabbix. Zabbix is also one of the very common and used. So what do we use?
All are working under SNMP, right?
Sorry? More
Or
multi-protocol they are and multi-vendor. Okay. Then what can we use these tools for? So you use them to identify unofficial services or servers running. You monitor usage and traffic status. You troubleshoot your network, investigating a security incident like, certain attack or something. Keeping logs of different user activities for accountability also. Okay. So multiple uses and, reasons can be there why you want to do a network monitoring. Then how do you choose the best tool? So this is what I was talking that, it's not like we just go and focus on only one tool. We do not stay limited to one tool only. First of all, we have to understand these 4 or 5 things. That is who, what, where, how, and when. That means to decide your best tool, you have to know first of all who is going to access your network. Is it students, academics, staff, visitors, or others? Because for everybody, there will be a different set of policies, different set of rules, and different set of stats that you want to monitor. Okay. Then when they are going to access your network, like for what they are going to access your network, like for academic study, if they are students, for social use, business use, or some illegal use. Okay. Then you have to identify from where they are accessing, from internal network or from external. How they are accessing remotely, locally, through WAN, dial-up connection, Wi-Fi, VPN, how they are connected to the network. Okay. Then when they are going to access, like, you want the data from when. Today's data you want, yesterday's, last week, last month, or last year, from when you want the data. So once these things, like how long you're going to store the data, that is what we're talking about here. So once you have all these clear pictures in your mind that, okay, you will have your objective in your mind that, okay, this is my requirement. Then according to your requirement, you look for a tool that, okay, this is the best tool for me. Okay. And sometimes it's not mandatory that you have to stay limited to one tool only. There can be more than one tool you will be using. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So can we get the recording of this session?
Yes. This recording will also be uploaded soon.
Where can I get it, sir? My email ID or?
I guess it will be uploaded soon on YouTube only by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay, so I'll confirm in the group only where you will get it. Okay.
Show the screenshot of the network monitoring tools. I'll take a screenshot.
Sure. I'll show you.
Yes.
Then, advantages of performing network monitoring. So it improves your efficiency, allows you to manage your network in a more proactive way. Okay. Reduces the load on the network and the management staff. Then increase productivity for admins. Okay. Because you don't have to go and check individually each and every device. Like right now, let's say in this case right now, so my R1 was down. Okay. So until or unless these both routers are down, or this router is facing congestion or some problem these users faced, until then I would never know without going and checking individual routers that, okay, there is some problem with the router. One of the router is down because these guys are forwarding the traffic. Okay. So that would be your day-to-day task to monitor the network devices. Okay. So individually going for each device and monitoring is not a good deal, right? So you can enhance and you can scale your productivity here. Okay. By using the tool, because the tool is doing the monitoring for you. You just need to focus on, okay, how to correct the problems. If warning is there, if alarm is there, if a device is down, how to bring it back up, how to make your network functional again. Okay. That is something we want. Is that clear? And this is the view if you want to see. If you want to take a screenshot, you can take. Done. Okay, so let me quickly show you how you can, see the logs in the Splunk. How you can forward logs to Splunk. So this is my Splunk application. Okay, and again, Splunk is running on the same system only. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and forward the logs from these three router R1, R2 and switch. So I'm going to forward those logs to the Splunk. Okay, so Splunk is running on same 70.94, my network management station only. So if you're aware how to forward logs to syslog, same approach we can use here. Okay, so I can say here.
Normally Splunk CM is installed in different log server.
Sorry.
Normally the Splunk is installed in another log server.
Yeah, we keep a dedicated system. Again, it depends, like if you are using a server, in that case, you can use a virtual machine also to host a Splunk, or you can, if you want, you can have a cloud solution also. Splunk is available as a cloud as well. Okay. No need to perform installation. That depends on, organization to organization, that how the deployment is. Sometimes, you manage the Splunk instance and sometimes you hire a third party to manage it for you. Okay.
Yes.
So let me forward the logs. So I'll say login monitor. I want to forward all the logs and I want to forward all the logs to 192.168.70.94. That's it. These are the two commands. Same. So logging monitor, debugging, logging host, and let's forward back 70.94. Same thing here. Logging, monitor, debugging, logging host, 192.168.7.9. Okay, so I'm forwarding all the logs from these three devices to the Splunk instance. And here I have to go to the settings and data inputs. And then I have to make sure that I'm listening on UDP port 514. Okay, so if I see here UDP, if I click here, I have already added it, the UDP port 514, and I have added a source type as Cisco devices. Okay, so that means all the things will be coming that, okay, these are the Cisco devices and they will be forwarding logs to port number 514. Now, let me show you how you're going to see the logs. Okay. So if I go to the search and reporting, okay, and if I show you all-time logs right now, I'm saying that, okay, index equals to star everything, or I can say Cisco devices also. Index equals to Cisco devices. Okay, maybe I don't have a space in between or something. First, let me check all the logs. So from there, we can filter it out. Okay, so I can see here source type and host. So you can see the IP addresses .1, .2, .3. Okay, so .1 is my R1 IP, .2 is my R2 IP and .3 is my .3 is my switch IP, right? So let's say I want to check everything related to R1 logs only. So I can go and search here. These are the R1 logs. Okay. These are the R1 logs that logging to the host 192.168.70.94 started. You can see here the same log here. So whatever the logs will be generated here, let's say if I go and if I say interface Z0/1 and if I say shutdown, so 2 logs will be generated. Okay, that the interface is down, line protocol is down, and same I'll say no shutdown. So 2 more logs will be there. That is, you can say like state interface is up and line protocol is up. So now if I go and check again, if I refresh, you'll see. Just wait for it. Those all logs will be here. All time logs from 172.16, 70.1. Taking time. That should not happen. Okay, let's say index equals to star. These are the hosts. Okay. So this is from .3. These are the log from the switches. Okay, because on the switch also. Okay, sorry, I did it on the switch. My bad. Switch IP is .3. So you can see these 4 logs. Okay, interface down. You can see here. Line protocol down, interface down, interface up, line protocol up. So by mistake, I did it on the switch. That's why .3 IP. Okay. So these logs are forwarded in the real time only. Again, if I'll do the same thing, right? See here, 4 more logs will be generated. These things are happening in the real time. The logs are forwarded in the real time. And Splunk is very intelligent that immediately it will find out all the, correlated data from here. That, okay, see here, interface is up. And if I search again, 4 more logs will be there. That quick it is. Okay. And it has automatically found that this is the time, this is the event that happened. Okay. And this is the information about the event. And automatically see here, everything, date, year, day, second, month, minute. Okay. Everything, all those things, it has automatically found out. So from here, we can easily identify that, okay, what's going on a specific device. Okay, let's say I want to see all the logs related to down only. So I can just type here that, okay, all the logs that are having something called as down. Now see, only the logs that are down. Same thing if I have to do it for, HSRP state change. So I will have either active or standby. So I can search those words that, okay, if my router is up, if my router is down. Okay, like that. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And see, this is about how you can monitor Cisco devices. What about, Windows systems you have, Linux systems you have? So if you are talking about Windows and Linux system, in that case, let me show you. There is an application, something called as Splunk Universal Forwarder. Okay. That is used to, that this application is available for all the platforms. Okay. For Windows also it's available. Okay. Like here, let me use the credentials. Oh, this one. So I'll need to log in from here. Okay, so you can say this is available for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, FreeBSD, Solaris, AIX. For all the operating system, it's available. So in all kinds of clients, you can install it. Okay, once it is installed, then this application can be used to forward all your logs to the Splunk. Okay, and after that, you can start monitoring. Okay, like, Splunk is so powerful that, let's say if I talk about vendors like Amazon, okay, and Flipkart, these kind of vendors, these can use these kind of, let's say for example, Splunk only. So they can use Splunk to know that, okay, how many purchases they made every day, what is the amount of, what is the number of products sold every day, from which area most products were sold. Okay, even these kind of things they can check. Okay, then you can say like, okay, if somebody added the product to the cart but they did not check out, so those kind of logs they can collect, and they can make entire view out of it. Okay, how they target that, okay, this was the user who added the product to the cart, so immediately they will start spamming you with emails or so, or notifications like that. Yes, Sammy.
So if you don't mind, will you show us Splunk details like versions, physical devices?
No, Splunk is not physical device. Okay, Splunk is not physical device. Yes, so there is, yeah, it's same like, SNMP manager we use as a PRTG. So it's a program.
Oh.
Okay. So it's a program that you install in a system, or you can use a cloud deployment for that.
So only cloud basis way.
Not only cloud. If you want to have it on premise, in that case, you need to install it in a system.
So like a software. You can,
yeah, like a software, you can see.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's very powerful. So when you come to the Splunk batch, I'll show you, how they make sense of the data, how they make sense of the log data. Okay, they can, this Splunk can be used to identify attacks also. Let's say if somebody is trying to perform a brute force attack where they are trying to, trying different passwords on your system. That can be checked from which location they try to perform, because they will have a source IP, right? So according to source IP, you can find out that, okay, from which country, from which location, from which city that thing was there, or the particular attack was coming in. So all those things can be checked. So those things, right now it will not be possible. So if you guys come into the Splunk batch, I'll show you all. Clear?
yes.
So for incident response, like you can get one job.
For incident response, see, incident response is something, let's say, first of all, for incident response, it's not like, one single software I have, so I can show you quickly. Incident response is what? Let's say, first of all, you must have an incident plan in place, incident response plan, what we call it as a IRP. So you must have an incident response plan first. That, okay, who are the members in your incident response team? Okay, and then you will be assigning everybody with a responsibility that, okay, this guy will have, let's say there is a person who is responsible for performing or bringing down or disconnecting the device from the network. Then your entire team member is going to have certain roles. Okay, so each member will be assigned with a role and responsibilities. Then you use different forensic tools. Okay, so we have different steps, like, first of all, you will identify the incident. Okay, then you'll identify the root cause of the incident. Then once you have identified that, okay, this is the root cause of the incident, then you isolate those particular systems which are affected. So that depends, what kind of incident is there, because first of all, you need to perform risk analysis for that. Okay, like what kind of risks are there. So there are so many things in consideration. Okay, so incident response is something that is not one single program that I can show you. Let's say, for example, according to incident response, let's say you are undergoing a DOS attack or DDoS attack. So according to that, first of all, you have to identify that, then you have to report that, then after you take a permission and you start your incident, what we call that, incident response measures, countermeasures. Like for DDoS, you can route your traffic to the ISP. That means according to your plan, it will be okay. You can route the traffic to your ISP. You can trigger your firewall or IPS systems. Okay. So whatever the DDoS defense you have in your network, those countermeasures should be started. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because these things are first needed for planning. Okay. So, any other doubts? Yes, Sami.
Yes, sir. Actually, will you use simple interaction path like
Sorry.
will you use simple interaction path Splunk?
Simple introduction for Splunk. Splunk is, in simple words, if I say, it's a log management and forensic tool. Okay, in simple terms, if you want to understand it, it's a log management and forensic tool where what happens that as soon as the logs arrive into Splunk, Splunk starts working on the logs because, let's say in a network, there can be thousands of systems. So it's not possible for a single person to go and check out individual logs and find out the problems, right?
Yes.
So with Splunk, what we can do inside Splunk, we can, if you see, we have an option for creating alerts. Okay. So let's say right now I have a filter here, this thing. Okay.
Yes.
This is one filter. So what I can do, I can create an alert of this filter. I can create an alert of this filter. So
Is it search to assign this for different type of alarms? We can assign different type of users.
sorry.
So we can assign different type of alarms to different users, right? We can assign.
Yes, we can do that. In Splunk also, we can create different types of users as well. Okay. So individual user will have a different task. Like one of the user, we can just keep that. Okay. He will just be having access to just watching the dashboard so that if anything changes, he can quickly notify the escalate the team, consent to the relevant team.
Okay.
Okay. So those kind of things can be done. Even we can generate reports from here. Okay. Yes. You see, I created a search here. I have an option to save it as an alert, right? And I can save it as a report also. But let's say I'll configure a simple alert here only. Let's say I'll name it something like interface down.
Through the report, we can escalate, right?
Yes. Okay. So I said interface is down and trigger it only for each result. It should be triggered. Okay. And whenever the number of results is greater than 0, that's fine. Alert type is real-time alert I want. That's fine. Shared in an app. Everything looks good. What should be the action? So if this kind of event happens again, you see, I have an option to log the event. I have an option to add it to triggered alerts. I can output it into CSV file. I can run a script. I can send an email to the admin. I can do Splunk mobile, webhook, and I can manage that.
Emails we can add, right?
Yes. Emails you can add, like admin email you will add. So
No, actually, I'm asking about particular vendors or like some other particular company. Actually, in monitoring, we escalate like vendors or as customers we escalate, right?
So you can send it, right? Let's say one copy of the email you can send there also. That's totally. But if it is for your own organization only, for your own LAN only, in that case, you will escalate it to your network security team, as a NOC team, right? Or SOC team. That is the case. So we can just go and configure alert right now. Let's say I'll just configure the action to be adding it to triggered alerts. Okay, so it should add it to triggered alert and severity should be, let's say, critical. That immediately attention is required here. And let me name it something like input goes down. And I'll see done. So I can see this is the alert here. Okay. So you see there are no fired events for this alert. So right now my interface didn't go down. So the alert was not triggered. But now I'll try to do it again. And you will see immediately alert will be triggered. If I say interface v1 by 0, shut down. So once interface will be down, alert will be triggered. Immediate. Okay. Refresh. Sorry, not from here. That should not happen from here. Like if I go to messages, go back to search. Okay. And if I go to alerts from here. Okay. Do you see? This is one alert configured. Number of result is greater than 0. That's fine. Trigger condition. Winds. Modified. Okay. Scheduled only. Sorry. I do not want to schedule this alert. It's a real time. Okay. Earlier by mistake I scheduled it. So that's why. Save it. So that's a real time alert. So that's why I will get quickly. So again, let me bring it up and down. No shutdown. Okay. Now I'll say shutdown. So now it should be triggered. Okay, let's refresh. You see, immediately triggered.
Yes.
So that's how it works.
Yes, I got it. Thanks.
Guys, clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So overall, if I say benefit of your network monitoring, so we saw that, okay, it improves your efficiency, manage your network. It helps you to manage your network in a more proactive way. Okay. It reduces load on the network and the management people. Okay. Increases productivity for the administrators and also permits monitoring on a more frequent basis and hence faster fault diagnosis. Like immediately the alert was triggered, right? So right now we just didn't add an email, but if you add an email, you will get an email also on your system. So immediately you can start working on the issues and faults. Okay. And you do not need any direct visibility by the network management station. You are getting emails for all your alerts and critical events, right? So that's, a way of more proactive management here. Okay, that you do not have to continuously sitting in front of a monitor and watching everything that, okay, whether it is changing, not changing, not changing, like that. Okay. Yes, Sammy.
One more thing, actually, is it possible to show actually medium, critical, and low level alarms? We can separately. Is it possible to show?
Right now it will not be possible because it will take time. That's like same way we can like, whatever the kind of event you're looking for. If it is a low severity level event, I will make the search accordingly.
Oh.
And then
I'm asking about the alarm is a critical and medium level type of alarms in the get to set.
yes, so that is the thing, right? Let's say if I'm running again it as an alert, so I will decide that, okay, whenever I'm let's say for example whatever the type of action I'm taking, so what is the severity level of that particular action? That means when the email will come to me, it will show me that, okay, the critical level is what. Okay.
No, actually, I'm asking everything in single time. So I asked it. So it's easy to manage or critical to manage. So if we are getting lots of alarms like a critical, high, and medium, low, means how to handle. So that's why I asked it. In category wise, it will show, or else same as it is just logs generating like that. It show. I asked.
You have to divide that, right? Like, that everything completely depends here. Whatever we are searching, the Splunk search processing language. So everything depends on it. The more specific your query will be, let's say if I'm making a query that is specific to a critical event. So that will contain the logs only from a critical event, right?
Yeah.
Now, if those logs coming from, yes.
In monitoring, we allocate different, actually, some fewer things will allocate critical and fewer things will allocate medium. But yes, or actually, depends upon that. Actually, if the logs generate continuously, means we can't focus on single thing, right? So it will make people to confuse. So I'm asking, so it will separate, or we need to get search and get separately, like I asked.
Okay. So understand here, what I'm trying to tell you is, let's say if I'm configuring any alert, so I will configure the severity level. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. So let's say I have critical alerts. So I can do what? I can add those alerts to my dashboard. Okay. So for critical alerts, I can create a separate dashboard. For I can create a separate dashboard.
No, I
Yes. So that's what I'm telling, right? These tools are so vast that I cannot explain you everything in 2 hours.
yeah, I got it. Sorry.
That is right. Yes. That is the case.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So it's all depend on how we are making the query and how we are saving it, because Splunk gives us option for generating alerts also, for creating dashboards also, for generating reports also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So you do not need any direct visibility, as you will be getting the emails and you're getting more reliable information here. So this was it for the session. I hope this was helpful and informative.